Hello guys, you're welcome once again to Nissi Academia. If you've not subscribed to this channel, do well to hit the subscribe button. Also like this video, and of course if you have any question whatsoever, write your questions in the comment box below. Alright, so in this video we are going to be looking at the industrial training, that is a student industrial work experience scheme, also known as CWES. Okay, and basically we'll be focusing on everything you have to understand, everything you need to know as it regards your industrial training. Okay, now if you are doing a 4 years course, your industrial training would come up in your third year. If you're doing a 5 years course, your industrial training will come up in your fourth year. So basically this video would definitely be a form of enhancement, be a form of bridging the gap between ignorance and knowledge acclimatization as it relates to IT or industrial training. So basically, the industrial training or student industrial work experience scheme is a platform that enables students to be exposed to the practical concept that relates to their discipline. Basically, you are going to experience hands-on knowledge, hands-on practice as regards to your discipline. And one thing you need to understand is that this is beyond theoretical work, that is writing on the board. You've been doing that for the couple of years you've actually been in school, from your first year down to your third or fourth year, with respect to whether you're doing a 4 years course or a 5 years course. So this is practical stuff. So basically, one thing you need to understand is that if you are interested in any field, if you're interested in any aspect of your field that would actually expose you to practical knowledge, you need to first of all look out for organizations that offer that practical knowledge you are interested in. Apply there, and you should understand that the duration of your internship is 6 months, which is exactly 24 weeks. That's the duration for industrial training. Basically, when you go to the CWES office of your university, you would be given a couple of materials. Now, these materials includes, first of all, your logbook, your student logbook. This is the logbook that contains the information that will be documented by you as regards what you're doing in your place of attachment. This is your industrial training logbook. This is for the University of Port Harcourt. Your university would also have their own CWES logbook. All right. So this is labeled training logbook. All right. Now another thing that you'll be given is the letter from your institution. Now the letter from your institution. Now this letter, you are expected to actually attach it to your own application letter. This would be photocopied together with your own application letter to the school that would actually, the school or organization. Okay, most especially I know some people train in schools, but let's just use the word organization, to the organization you are interested in. Okay, so you apply with this letter. So it's this letter that will actually show the organization that indeed this is the institution you are coming from, this is the institution you are representing. This is of course from the University of Port Harcourt. All right, so you would either present a handwritten application letter or a typed application letter alongside this. You would apply with these two letters to the organization that you're interested in actually proceeding with your internship. Now, besides this, you'll also be given another form. Now, this form is called Industrial Training Fund. It's a landscape form. Now, this form is to be submitted to your ITF office, the ITF office that is in your area. Now, behind you see addresses of ITF offices for the different areas in different states in the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Now, this ITF letter is supposed to be submitted to the ITF office designated to the area where your place of industrial attachment is located. Now, this is supposed to be an evidence that you are doing your IT and you should be funded. Okay, there are people who are responsible for funding industrial training students, and these are ITF officials. Now, submitting this document will require your details to also be documented, of which it will be stated that yes, you have started your industrial training, and of course it will also be indicated that it will be completed within a specific period of time. You can see name of student, this is where you write your name. Now your matriculation number here, your course of study, which is of course the department you are actually in, and of course the year or level. Of course the year, if you're offering a 4 years course, the year is year 4 or 400 or 300. If you're offering a 4 years course, by the way, the year is year 3, okay? I beg your pardon, and the level is 300 level, all right? Then if you're offering a 5 years course, the year you will write year 4 or 400 level, okay? Because your IT is usually the second to last year, okay, of your university degree. All right, your university degree duration. Now period of attachment in months, you write 6 months here. Then now date of commencement, that is the date when you started your IT, you write it here. Date of completion, you write it here. Then of course don't write anything here. This is for remarks, okay, from the ITF officials. It's not supposed to be for you. Now ITF area office. Okay, this ITF area office is the area office that is designated to the area where you are actually doing your IT. Now, the ITF area office, for instance, now in Port Harcourt, now you can write, there's also Rumukuta office, there's Transamadi office, you write that here. Then our name of organization, name of where you are actually doing your IT. Then location address, that is the address of your location of internship. Institution, you write the university, for instance, University of Port Harcourt, you write it here. Now phone number of organization, then email of organization. You have to fill this form before you submit. And another thing is that this form must be stamped by the organization where you are actually training in. So it must be stamped and it must be signed by your industrial based supervisor. Very important to note that. Then you will also be given another form. Now this form is called your ITF Form 8. Now this form has 3 sections. Now the first section here is to be completed by you. The second section here, which is here, is to be completed by your industrial based supervisor, that is the organization. Then the third section, which is your part C, has to be filled by your institution. All right, by your institution. Now look at this. Now this part A here is to be filled by you. If you look at, you have to write your name in full, your registration or your matriculation number, okay, your course of study, name of institution, then year of study. Year of study is year 4, which is 400 level. That is if you're doing a 5 years course. If you're doing a 4 years course, year of study is 300 level or year 3. All right, but since they say year 3, you write year 3 there. The name and address of the company or establishment, that's the organization where you're attached to, you write the name here, then the department or section. For instance, now if you're working in the medical laboratory and you are actually in the hematology unit, you write hematology unit. If you're in the radiology unit, you write radiology unit. If you are in a biochemistry laboratory, all right, you write biochemistry unit here. If you are in a microbiology unit, you write the microbiology unit here. If you're working in a surgical unit, you write surgical unit here. All right, so depending on the department where you are or section where you are working, you write it here. Now period of attachment, okay, period of attachment from when did you start, date of commencement to when. All right, so you write it there. Then number of weeks, of course, is 24 weeks. Now brief outline of experience of training provided. Now you're supposed to fill this part when you have finished your IT. All right, so an outline, more like a summary of your experience, during your period of internship, is supposed to be in this space below. All right, so this space is not so much, don't go and write super story there. All right, so just a summary of how you've done. Okay, now where were you attached first, if applicable? New. All right, you write new there because it's not really okay to be attached to 2 places, so write new there. Okay, then you total number of weeks engaged is 24 weeks. Then of course you sign here. Then now this part B is supposed to be filled by your employer. All right, ensure that this part B is filled by your employer. Whatever your employer writes here, if your employer chooses poor here, it means that you had a very poor performance. Whatever your employer writes here would be a signal or be an evidence of how you perform or how you behave. or your manner of approach to your industrial training. All right, so it's supposed to be here. Okay, so if you look at it very well, you're not supposed to fill this part. This part is supposed to be filled by your industrial training supervisor, anyone who was supervising you, or the person in charge of your unit. All right, so then here, which is your part C, this will be filled by your institutional based supervisor. Now, during the course of your training, your supervisor would come from the institution, aside the one that is from the attachment. All right, so there is an institutional based supervisor which your university will be assigning to you. Now, your your institutional based supervisor will be assessing your performance. Now, your institutional based supervisor was not there when you are training, so your institutional based supervisor will be assigning you based on the contents of your logbook and how familiarized you are with the contents of your logbook. Of course, the institutional based supervisor is going to ask you about the details that you have actually imputed in your logbook. So if you look like you don't even know what you are doing, or maybe you are not familiarized with it, then of course you are attracting a very low grade to yourself. So before you meet your supervisor, your institutional based supervisor, if your institutional based supervisor invites you to his or her office and is expected to assess you, you must ensure that you go through your logbook thoroughly. Okay, you must ensure you go through your logbook thoroughly, because it is based on your explanation and based on your overall elucidation that would prompt your institutional based supervisor to assess you properly. All right, so that is the last section. Now please mind you, this form 8 is also present in your logbook. Let me show you that. Let me show you that section. Okay, it's also present in your logbook. As a matter of fact, it's even from your logbook that it was printed. So aside the fact that this form 8 will be filled, you also need to do exactly the same thing. Your institutional based supervisor, your industrial based supervisor will do exactly the same thing in your logbook. Now let me show you. Let me show you that. Now, if you open to your logbook, all right, I'm trying to locate that area. Okay, first of all, in your logbook, you have a section where you would fill your details. Now, this is page 2. All right, this is page 2. You fill your details here. You can see, ensure you fill your details in upper cases. All right, that is capital letters here. Now, if you fill it in small letters, no problem, but ensure that it is bold. Now here you have to you have to place a passport photograph here. Now also in your form 8, there's also a section for passport photograph. Now this is the second though. You need a total of 3 passports. Okay, I've showed you where you have to fill your details, and of course to also input passport photograph. Then let me show you the second form 8, which is still the other one, just a replica of the one I showed you initially. Let me show you the one that is present in your logbook, where you would fill the same details. Your institutional based supervisor will fill the same details. Your industrial based supervisor will also fill the same details. So now if you open to page, where that page 54, all right, you open to page 54, look at it here. All right, so this is the exact replica of what I showed you initially. All right, this is another place where you have to put your passport photograph. All right, so if you look at it very well, you realize that you have part A, you have part A, you have part B to be filled by the employer. The only thing that is not in that one I showed you that is here is this state look total paid to students. If you are paid there, your employer will put the amount that you are paid. For those of you who will be going to areas where you'll be chopping money and so where you would actually indicate the amount that was paid is actually here, and that person that will indicate that is your employer. All right, so that is that. Now, please don't touch anything here. We open to page 57. Don't touch, you're not supposed to fill here. Please don't touch anything there. Now, as for page 58, 59, from page 57 to 60, don't touch anything. Now, this is the first week of your training. Now, here is for the diagram for week 1. Then here now is for the activities. All right, now this person went to his or her IT 3 times in a week. The minimum period that you can train, okay, in a week is 3 times. Don't go 2 times. All right, 3 or every day. The acceptable minimum is 3. Now here is where you're supposed to do a summary. Please, this place should be neat. Ensure you write headings and underline a summary of everything you did. You can summarize it. You can summarize, even if it is in 8 lines, try and summarize it. Don't make this place clustered. Don't cancel. Only your logbook gives you 40 marks. Only your logbook gives you 40 marks. Don't play with it. Don't play with it, I repeat. All right. So you are supposed to fill only 24 weeks. Your logbook gets down to look at, there are still vacant spaces. Now this person only filled 24 weeks because 24 weeks that is required. Look at this. See, there are still vacant spaces here. All right. Don't say you're supposed to fill everything. It's not textbook. You stop at week 24. Stop at week 24. Now at the end of your logbook, you see comment by official. Now this official here is your ITF official. All right. So this official here is your ITF official. Now the place you submitted that first form that I showed you, at the end of your IT, you still take your logbook there. So what will happen is that now they will stamp it. Okay, they will stamp here before you now take it to your department. After it has been stamped, you still collect it still that very day, and you take it to your department for submission. Please ensure that your institutional based supervisor, that is the one from school, has been able to assess you before you take this logbook to ITF office. It's very important. It's very, very important. All right. Now, the next thing that you have to note is a report. Your industrial based technical report. Now that report is a summary of everything you did during your IT. That report should contain history of CWES. First of all, it must be spiral binded. You should have a cover page that will indicate your name, your department, of course the course, and everything. Okay, more like every detail of you, your name, your matriculation number, your supervisor's name must be there. The course code must be there. Course code varies from department to department. The fact that you're doing IT does not mean that your course code must be the same with somebody in mechanical engineering. That is if you are in a department like biomedical technology, for instance. All right. So course code varies, but it is still a total of 9 credit units. This is the only time you can grasp that 9 credit units effectively. Don't play with it. Your report alone has a total of 20 marks. Only your report has 20 marks. Your report should contain everything. I prepare reports, all right? So I would my contact is actually in the bio. So just text me. So I prepare standard professional reports, all right? Standard professional report. Any university at all, any department at all. Okay, I just need to know the details of the activities you did there, and of course it will be top notch. You have to present 2 copies of your report. One is going to your department, then one is going to CWES. One is going to your department, one is going to CWES. 2 copies, spiral binded. The least number of pages should be 40 pages. 44 and 0, not 4, 4 and 0. And another thing you need to know is that the font type is Times New Roman. The font size is font 12. The recommended line spacing is double line spacing, which is 2.0. Okay, use a Microsoft and do that. Like I said, if you have difficulties, you don't know how to start, all right, so contact me, and of course I'll prepare that for you. Another thing you must note is that if you have tables in your report, ensure that those tables are labeled. If you have statements in your report, ensure that they are properly cited. Use citations, reference them. At the end, you have to prepare a reference list. Your IT report should not be less than 40 pages. Like I said, I will repeat that again. It should not be less than 40 pages. Now, your IT report contains all the topics that you did during your IT. But now, there is one topic that you probably became very familiar with, that you loved, you admired, you were exposed so much to, you are very knowledgeable about. Now this is what you do. You pick that topic. That topic is going to be used in preparing your PowerPoint presentation slides. Your PowerPoint presentation slide is to be projected. Okay, that's what you're going to use for your defense. That's what you're going to use for your defense. The least number of, in fact, the range for your slide should be 14 to 18. Slides require professionalism. Trust me. You don't just get up and start preparing slides. Okay, you don't just, if you want details on how your PowerPoint presentation, or you want me to prepare your slides as well, you can also contact me. All right, and Nissi Academia will do a lot of things. We do everything that's related to academics. We are never caught on fresh. All right, we are never caught on fresh in Nissi Academia. On fresh is not by appearance. We are never caught on fresh in academics, like the things that are meant to guide you academically. All right, so please do well to prepare your reports and your PowerPoints well. Don't wait till the 11th hour. All right, At Nissi Academia, we do professional reports and PowerPoint slides. Okay, your PowerPoint slide is a total of 25 marks. Now, your like I said, 40 marks for your logbook, 20 marks for your report, that's 60. The remaining 25 is for your PowerPoint slide. Now, 25 plus 60 will give you 85. It means that there is 15 left. Now, your PowerPoint slides and that 15 left is what forms your defense. Now, let me give you some hints, some tips for a successful defense. Number one, ensure that your appearance is presentable. Dress well, dress properly. Number two, have a very high level of confidence, not overconfidence. High level of confidence means that you should know what you're doing. Don't fret. Okay, don't fret. Don't go there and behave like you did not even conduct your IT. You did not go for IT for a period of 6 months. Know your onions, all right? Know what you are doing. Okay, like I said, dress properly, have confidence. Number three, be willing to explain every concept of your IT without having to read from your slide. That particular topic, that particular IT topic that you have chosen, it's expected that before you even go for your defense, you must have studied it effectively. You must have studied it effectively. A lot of persons will go and they are reading from the slide, they are reading as though they are teaching students. No, it's not a teaching section, it's a presentation, for crying out loud. All right, so it's expedient for you to get acclimatized, get familiar, get very knowledgeable about that topic so you will not fumble. Very important. Another thing you must do, please don't say what is not in your slide. If you start saying things from the beginning of Adam and Eve and it is not in your slide, you'll be willing to explain the story of Adam and Eve. Ensure that everything you are seeing are the things that are in your slide. And also, don't subject your knowledge or don't confine your knowledge to only what is in your slide. You need to also go out of the box and say things that are broadly not understood by a vast majority of people. Because during that presentation, your supervisors will be there, your students will also be there watching you. It's not a one-on-one thing. It will be a whole, your students will be there, your colleagues rather will be there, your lecturers will be there, professors will be there. So a lot of persons will be inquisitive to know. If you're talking about ABO blood grouping, for instance, you need to know about cross-matching. You need to know about paternal blood grouping, maternal blood grouping. You need to be able to answer questions that relate fully to anything pertaining to ABO blood grouping. But you must not necessarily include everything in your slide. All right. But first of all, during your 5 minutes of presentation, present based on what is in your slide, but have the knowledge of external things just in case someone asks you a question that is not in your slide. All right. So you have to play your cards well. You have to play your cards well. All right. So that is that. Now, it's very important to also note that during your IT, all right, you'll be graded on the spot. It's not like you'll be graded after on or later on. It will be there. So anything you do there, take it as though it is your last day for you to exist. All right. Within those, even if you're given 2 minutes, practice your stuff so much so that regardless of the little period of time or little amount of time that you are given, you can still be able to explain the concept to the understanding of even a layman. Don't make it too ambiguous. Make it to be understandable by the least academically inclined person. If you have more questions whatsoever, you can feel free to ask these questions. All right, you can ask these questions in the comment box. If you want my contact, you can also ask for my contact, even in the bio. All right, my WhatsApp contact is there to contact me on WhatsApp. All right, so do well to subscribe to this channel. I repeat, do well to subscribe to this channel if you haven't. Okay, and of course, like the video, share as well. All right, thank you. Bye bye.